Welcome, audience members. You are now entering the Parliament of the Daleks, a Doctor Who podcast focusing on the toys, action figures, and merchandise from the past, present, and future of our favorite sci-fi franchise. I'm your Dalek fanatic host, Wade, joined by figure expert Alex and Captain Kitbasher Jack, and in this episode, we'll be talking about our thoughts on Doctor Who Flux, or Season 13. We just had the trailer about a week ago. We're now going to give our thoughts on it. And then, what's even cooler is Flux is going to come out next week on October 31st, right?
I think so, yeah.
That's awesome. So we're recording this as of Sunday, October 24th, 2021. And we officially have 1 week until Flux comes out. And we just wanted to get together to share our thoughts on the trailer and what we're looking forward to. So the first question I'll ask is, what did you think of the Doctor Who Flux trailer? And we'll start with you, Jack.
I really liked it. I thought it's the most different trailer that we've had in the Chibnall era. I like that we actually saw some monsters. It wasn't just, shots of celebrity guest stars that are going to be in the series. It seemed like a big movie. I think it seemed like a sort of a trailer for a Doctor Who movie. And I really liked it. I thought it was exciting. The music was good, even though it wasn't scored by Sega Canola.
Well, that's why it sounded good.
That's probably for the better, let's be honest.
I don't know, he's good, some good tracks, but, let's not go down this rabbit hole this early. I just think it was really exciting. I think the visuals look incredible. Like, it's so crazy to see how far we've come since 2005. And, the monsters look fun, but we'll get more into that when we talk about the monsters later.
Definitely. Alex, what were your thoughts on it?
Well, I actually really sort of enjoyed the trailer, really. For me, it's good because, as Jack mentioned, there's actually monsters in it, and you get to see, a good amount of them, and it actually looks exciting and fun, which I couldn't really say for especially the Series 11 trailer, where it was literally just shots of just the companions and the Doctor. It's like, how am I meant to be excited for this? This looks awful. And, they've stopped using horrible pop music, I always hated all that, so proper good trailer music. Yeah, I think the visual effects look amazing, although, and the overall production value it certainly looks like it's on top form, although it is a trailer. They are obviously going to show the best shots they have, though it might not be consistently like that the entire time. That's my only slight concern, but yeah, I actually really like the look of it.
I have the same exact thoughts as you guys. I legitimately think this trailer is the best trailer we have received from the BBC within the past 3 years. This is everything that a trailer should be. It has good music to go with it. You finally get to see some action or plot in the sense that there's stuff happening all around you. There are a ton of monsters that are showed off. Overall, this is the kind of trailer that I've been dying for I don't know how long. This is the kind of trailers we should have been getting for the other seasons, but we never really got. So I definitely feel like this trailer is a step in the right direction. How it was marketed and everything, I could take or leave it. It was pretty bad in my opinion. But I'd say the trailer was pretty neat. Just like you said, Jack, the visuals are incredible. It's nice to see the monsters on screen, and it definitely has me a little more excited just to see what Doctor Who will come to for Flux. As for the name of it, I think it's a little weird. I don't know why they're not saying season 13, but I guess it's just to be different, or the fact that it's in chapters and not episode installments now.
Well, I think it's the fact that series 13 is such a big number, and it's daunting for an average viewer who hasn't seen the show before or not seen much of it. So I think they want to sort of separate it from that, which honestly I think is a really good idea to have a subtitle instead of a series number, because if it's a really huge number, it's very alienating because people think, oh, we got to watch from series 1 to 12 before we watch this, which isn't really how Doctor Who works necessarily. Although I would recommend people do watch Eccleston and Tennant and everything over Jodie first, but that's just my opinion. Start with William Hartnell, you fake fans.
Fake fans.
And you got to start the unaired pilot as well.
Exactly.
All right, moving on to question 2. What is your favorite moment from the trailer? And we'll start with you, Jack.
I quite liked our final battle has begun moment. I think that looked quite cool. Seeing the Doctor and the Crystal guy, the Crystal Skull we'll call him, on the sort of empty plain, with the sort of black sand and the mist all around them. I thought that looked really cool.
Is it me or I know it's not going to be him, but that guy almost sounds like Jared Leto in my mind. I have no
It
idea why.
does.
He
It
looks
does.
like him, he sounds like him, and I'm like, why does this like remind me of
It's the
like
Joker.
just like Jared Leto Joker?
Well, yeah, well, I guess alternate dimensions. He can be. That's the actual surprise character of the series. It's a crossover with the Snyderverse. But
We're restoring the Snyderverse just through Doctor Who.
yeah, Batman's gonna
Well
show
done,
up.
Snyder fans, you've got it. Batfleck's returning.
Yay! And I quite like the Cybermen. I think they looked quite cool, marching down that hallway shooting. Oh, and there was a cool shot of Jodie falling backwards into like some big vortex. I thought that looked good as well. But yeah, I'd say the standout for me, the shot, was the "Our final battle has begun" moment.
That's a pretty good one. Alex, what about you?
Say for me, just all the Sontaran related bits, like the part where you see like all the spaceships in that big factory, whatever it is, and one of the shots near the end where they're in front of the exploding ships that are all just there. And of course the shot where we see the Sontaran on the horse. I think it's just because I like that Sontaran design. I mean, the prosthetics for the mask are not like perfect, but I like the new armor they've got, and I'm excited to see how they use Sontarans in the story.
Everyone's going to think I'm copying you, but I had the same exact thoughts. My favorite shots were definitely Sontaran related. Specifically for me, definitely the Sontaran on the horse. I think that's a really cool shot, and that just is something that suits them, I feel like, because Sontarans, if you think about like to the Time Warrior or the Sontaran experiment, for the most part, they were able to adapt to their environment, whether they're doing it for combat or battle or anything like that. Like they just seem like so unfazed by it. Like it's just funny to think about a Sontaran just hopping on a horse.
Yeah, but I want to see him get on the horse.
It's such a cool shot, though.
And character options will make a build a horse like the DC Multiverse Dark Knight Returns.
Oh,
Oh, wow. But overall, I thought that was a great looking shot. And in my opinion, it actually fits them because I think it's totally believable that they would use the planet's resources at their disposal. And the battle shot between them and I know they're soldiers, but I don't know what specifically it
Crimean.
is.
They're the Crimean.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's in the Crimean War.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So that battle shot, that was pretty cool looking, and that was a great overhead shot. I wonder if they shot that on like drone or something.
Maybe.
It looks mostly CG though, but yeah, they probably use like a drone shot for reference.
I
mean, they
wonder.
might have done.
I'll have to double check that scene because I couldn't tell if it was CG or if it was something like a rehearsal for like in an actual like little battle reenactment they did. But I gotta say, that's a really cool looking shot. They did a nice job for it.
Yeah, it looks really good.
We haven't seen anything like that in I don't know how long to see these giant armies just clash with each other. That is pretty cool looking. But yeah, overall, my favorite shots were anything and everything Sontaran related for this.
I don't know. I don't think I like the design for the actual, head.
Oh yeah, they're not like amazing.
You're gonna have to go into detail. Why don't you like it? Because I feel like I'm the only one that is okay with it, but I'm a little biased because I strictly like classic series Sontarans.
Yeah, my favourite Sontaran design is like the very, very, basic, stripped down Sontarans. I don't know, this guy looks like a big potato.
All of them look
They're
like
not-
big potatoes.
No, they...
Yeah, they're meant to look like that.
No, but this guy, most of them, you make the joke, oh, they look like a potato. This guy actually looks like you've chopped a potato in half and poked it on top of the armour. It's like, it looks so rigid, and it looks like it doesn't look like an actual thing that could move. It looks like a mask.
Yeah, I'd actually say that's my main issue with it as well, to be honest. But that's what you get when Millennium Effects are not working for you anymore.
Well, yeah, exactly. If only Millennium Effects were here, because we'll talk about them later, especially with some other monster designs in this trailer that I wouldn't say we're happy with.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, I really like the design for the armor and just about everything for them. I'm not against the prosthetics only because I think what they're trying to shoot for is they're trying to shoot for the later 70s and 80s Sontarans. Think about like the Invasion of Time or maybe even the Two Doctors. The way those masks were constructed are, of course, very different to Lynx or Styre. I appreciate the little bit of diversity in the sense that they're trying to blend a modern design with an older one like that. Those designs aren't often regarded as the best. I think they're pretty much at the bottom of the barrel, but I really appreciate what they were trying to do. As for the colors of it, yeah, it doesn't really look like skin. It just looks like a poopy brown chocolate.
You know my problem with it? The eyes are too inset. The eyes are so far back in the skull. He just looks like he's squinting the whole time and he can't really move. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I'd agree, actually. I think that's the main problem. I think the actual mask design is okay, but it is just the way that, the way the masks, the way his eyes are so recessed in, and the fact that I don't think the actor can move very well in that mask. It just looks very restrictive.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of the Michael Keaton Batman, that to turn his head, he has to move his whole body to look that way.
I think that's how it is for every Centauran.
No, but with that, I'll say the RTD era sometimes their eyes could move to the side. This guy looks like if he moved his eyes to the side, he'd just see the side of his, eye sockets.
Yeah.
But yet again, that's where I think that they're inspired by the Invasion of Time. They have taller heads. They have very deep inset eyes like that, and they even have big old ears. So
Well,
I think that's what they were shooting for.
I don't like it, okay?
Hey, that's okay. That's your opinion.
Jack.
I'm the one that's most lenient on this era out of us three as well, but, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, look how the roles are reversed. You're the one hating on them, and me and Wade are the ones that like them.
Yeah, so just to give the audience context in this, when the trailer first came out, Jack was originally the one that was hating on all of it. And me and Alex were the only ones like praising it. It was hilarious. Like, wow, that'll probably never happen again.
Never. That was a one-time deal.
I just thought of something, Jack. Do you have a list of every single character that showed up?
I think so.
Okay. All right, next up, we're going to do some dissecting for the trailer. And Jack has kindly provided a lot of images for us to look at. Jack, what's the first character that we'll be covering from this trailer?
I think they're called the Ravagers or the Ravages. I'm not sure. Jodie's accent was a bit hard to understand over the sort of glitching noises, but I think they're called the Ravagers. They're just the Crystal Skull, we'll call them, the Crystal Skulls. They look interesting. They look very regal in their sort of royal clothing. The makeup, I think, looks great. The skull on the man is sort of like pearlescent, and I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I'm just looking at his giant shoulder pads he's got going on.
This is very nice. The bigger the shoulder pads, the more royal you are.
They kind of remind me of, when I look at, especially at the girl on the left, it reminds me of Eldrad, kind of, because she's like that crystalline rock woman. That's kind of what they look like to me. I don't know if they're going to be like the same species or anything like that. That's really cool looking for costume. Although Eldrad is more gorgeous, I'll say that, as a costume and everything. Eldrad is bae.
Yeah, well,
when it comes to rock characters.
My theory on that these characters are from the same dimension that the Timeless Child is from, because in an interview with the Radio Times, which I have put in the chat, there are a couple of characters who we meet who are creatures from another dimension who have a history of the Doctor, but I even think with this, I am giving too much away. That's Chris Chibnall. So I think these are either, here's my theories, the first one is kind of crazy, I think these are either the Doctor's parents, or these are the Doctor's rulers from whatever planet the Doctor is from, the Timeless Child. I think maybe they're the king and queen, because I'm looking at, and I think maybe this will tie into that theory or plot leak that was going around that the TARDIS is sick, and that's what the crystals are. They're like sort of tumours, I guess, growing in the TARDIS. Because if you look at the guy, he's got crystals growing out of his head.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's not to like symbolize a crown or anything like that?
Well, but they're going out the other side of his head as well. They're growing out the side of his face. It's a good theory.
That is interesting to think about. What do you think of him, Alex?
Well, obviously, I don't really have too much to say, except the design is very nice. Like, I really like that, sort of skull look that's sort of, purpley, shiny. And as you say, like, there's the very regal clothing. I think it's interesting to see what they'll actually do in the story and what their purpose is, I suppose. Because if they've got some history of the Doctor, it's got to be to do with the Timeless Child stuff. It just has to. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's actually really good from a design standpoint, especially the clothes. Their clothes complement their masks very well. I'd say the only thing is we're just gonna have to wait and see to see who they are. What's the next one that we'll be covering, Jack?
The Cybermen are back in what appears to be the same location as the Wookiee character that we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, these Cybermen, something looks different about them. I don't know what it is. I think maybe they've changed the paint a little bit. And there's a few updates, mainly just with the lighting. The headlamp on this Cyberman is sort of protruding a little bit more out of the top of his head, as opposed to the last time we saw them where they were sort of inset. There's a little bit of battle damage to the chest on this one. Yeah, it's good to see the Cybermen again.
They still got those spikes.
They still got the spikes, but
The damn spikes look horrible.
I don't know. I think we've got to just deal with the fact they have spikes now.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's like I guess we forget the fact that these are supposed to be a different class of Cybermen because they're cyber warriors.
They just look like heavy metal Cybermen. Just like
But when I think of warriors, I don't think of metalhead spikes, shoulder pads.
I like the theory that, which is my theory I came up with, so of course I'm going to like it, but I came up with the theory that because they're cyber warriors, these are the ones that go in and subjugate the planet before conversion. So the Cybermen understand emotions because they think they're, they weaken them, but they can use it to their advantage. So if they look physically scary, they're going to scare the people that they're subjugating, make them irrational, not think properly, and then they win easier.
makes sense actually. But one thing I would say, given they're a different class of Cybermen, I'd really like to see them on screen alongside the Nightmare and Silver designs.
Yeah, I would too.
So you can actually see, oh yeah, these are the warrior ones, these ones are the normal ones, and there's like a separation there. Because at the moment it's just sort of like, oh, these are the replacements. That's how it feels. So I think that's what it's lacking at the moment.
I mean, I remember when it first came out, I liked the way they did the helmet. I thought that was a nice homage to, say, the Invasion Cybermen. But now after season 12, I'm like, I look at the whole body going with them, and I'm like, nah, I'd rather go back to the Nightmare and Silver ones.
That is the thing. I really love the helmets, but yeah, the body just doesn't do it for me. I really don't like it.
Like, that's the thing. Why couldn't they just keep... Like, I know for the most part, they kit bashed, like, the old body. They added some new parts and replaced others. For the most part, it is the same, but it's like, why not just go back to the Nightmare and Silver body? Like, the same colors and everything. Give it the new helmet. Call those ones the Cyber Warrior class. And then you can have both of them right alongside each other. That would be pretty sick, in my opinion.
I don't think they exist anymore.
And then you could even do, like, the Cyber Leader or something. Like, when was the last time we had a Cyber Leader on screen? Like, it's been ages.
I think, oh my goodness, I think it was the 2009... No, it wasn't. Surely. Was it?
Oh my gosh. It would have been 2011 from season 6, right?
Yeah.
So it's been 10 years since we had a Cyber Leader, right?
At least.
10 whole years. What on earth? I think that is legitimately the last time we had a Cyber Leader on screen.
Yep.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. We need them back.
You know what it is with this Cyberman? The helmet doesn't work with the body. The helmet is so smooth and sleek, and the body has got all this, like, rigid sort of angular designs.
I agree.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't mind just going back to the Nightmare and Silver Cybermen, because even then, like, in season 12, Chibnall brought back the literal Cybus Cybermen, and it's like, what gives?
Because he's an
Like,
RTD era simp, that's why.
oh yeah, that explains it.
No, it's not. It's because they cannibalized the Nightmare and Silver costumes to make the Cyber Warriors.
Yeah, I know they did. That's
Literally couldn't have them back.
sad. What a waste.
Actually, no, but that's a lie, because I know 2 of them are at the Time Fracture thing in London that's currently underwater.
2 out of how many were made? Was it 8 or 10?
8.
8?
There was 8. But then I guess that's underwater at the moment anyway, so we don't even know if those exist anymore.
The new Atlantis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, they'll do a Doctor Who Aquaman crossover.
Well, I told you, this is the
London.
Snyderverse.
Yeah, it all links.
These Cybermen appear to be in the same location as the Wookiee guy that we can talk about now, if you want.
Chewdogga?
Chewdogga. He looks interesting. I like that his armor is sort of looking like it's from feudal Japan, like a samurai look. But then his spaceship or whatever he's in, I'm assuming it's a spaceship, looks like that too. It's interesting to see the big red claw back, because obviously that's from Day of the Doctor. How many times has that shown up now? Day of the Doctor, Series 8, and now? Is the third time it's shown up?
Probably.
I don't know. Yeah.
Big red claws back with Dan in a cage, so maybe he wants to get him into, replaster part of the ship. I'm not sure, but
What do you think about the actual character design itself, Jack? Do you love it or do you hate it?
I mean, I don't love it, but I don't think it's terrible.
Alex, what about you?
It's just average. It's what I'd expect.
Because I know this guy is like going all around the internet right now, and people are very vocal on the fact that they hate how it looks and they think it's the dumbest thing they've ever seen. But I gotta say, I like it.
You're gonna have dumb, animal-like creatures at some point.
Yeah, I'm not against the idea because it just, for me, I've always wanted to write a story to bring back the cheetah people from Survival. But this character, like the way they do the mask and having him like a weird furry guy, I think it actually works. So it's like,
I
in my
think it
book, I'm
works.
like, hey, that works in the Doctor Who universe. I could jive with this. And design wise, like what Jack said, having the samurai feudal Japan look, I think that's really cool for a spaceship. I'm totally for the look of this character. I think he'd make a great action figure too.
Yeah, he would.
But yeah, he's not really proven to be popular right now.
Well, I think I just wanted to say as well. I'm just trying to get a picture of it for reference because I've just noticed something. But yeah, he's got another cage. He's got weapons on the wall, so he's obviously like a collector or something. And he's collected Dan.
He's just collected Dan. He's like, I need a plasterer in my collection. Yeah, he's just working on his Doctor Who figure collection. He already knows that Dan the Man's going to be a companion, so he's collected him.
Exactly. I'm thinking maybe this Wookiee guy scooped up Dan, thinking he's the Doctor, and he wants him in his collection.
No, he just wants his Dan the Man action figure, and Al Juar's not made it yet, and he's like, I'm going to kidnap John Bishop.
That's exactly how it works.
Next up is the Potato Man, Sontaran.
Woohoo!
I don't think it works. I really don't think it works. I think he just looks like a big squidged mask with inset eyes and giant ears.
I don't know, the ears are okay. Yeah, as you say, Jack, though, I don't like how recessed in his eyes are. It does look a bit odd. But I think the rest of it works. And I suppose if the actual prosthetic mask was better and allowed the actor to move in it more, I think I'd be much happier with it.
I agree. I think I would like it if he could move and his eyes weren't so, at the back of his head, basically.
I think I'm the only one that legitimately likes this.
Yeah, probably.
As I said before, I'm pretty happy with it. It reminds me of the Invasion of Time. I think the deep inset eyes complement it well in the sense that it's like a modern day version of that style of Cyberman. Sontaran.
Big fan. But I mean, I'd say the mask looks better than Invasion of Time, for example. So I mean, at least they've surpassed it,
That is not a compliment.
Oh, yeah, that is not a compliment.
The mask looked better than a monster that showed up like 40 years ago. That's not a compliment.
I don't know. Those Sontarans were at their worst, and that was after the likes of Lynx and Styre. So
yeah, Lynx is still the best Sontaran. That's just a fact.
Yeah, Lynx does still, I think, have the best mask.
Wrong. Strax is the best Sontaran, I'll have you know.
Oh, wow.
I like the armor. I will say that. I really like.
Yeah, the armor's amazing, at least in my opinion. It really is just the classic series design, but really bulked up and more modernized and armored up. Because I feel like as much as I like the RTD era designs, you sort of go, yeah, this sort of blue look sort of doesn't feel like practical.
The blue looks ridiculous, though. If it was like black and gunmetal, it'd look pretty sick.
Yeah, but you know why they were blue is because RTD designed them in the eyes of a toy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, to make them like toys, which honestly, it worked.
And it works well. They could have kept it for like season 4, maybe season 5 or so, but like after that, it's like I wouldn't have minded a costume change to go along with it.
Well, I don't think bright blue things would work in a sort of Crimean War setting, so...
No.
Although, I mean, they have kept the blue to some extent, because if you look at like the fabric-y parts, they're sort of like a bluish grey, so it's not like they've gone completely back to completely black.
I like the rust effect, and I really like the rank pips on his collar. I think that's very Star Trek-y. Their uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
They had
it looks really good.
their rank pips on the collar of their uniforms as well.
But one thing I also love how just the actual helmet piece is literally just the same as Lynx's helmet. It's just pretty much the same.
I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that.
I like that.
Yeah, next up is Vinda, which my theory, the Han Solo of the Doctor Who universe.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, just for like the look and the way he seems on screen. Or
maybe he's the Captain Jack replacement.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Isaac, I was just gonna say that he's probably gonna be a Captain Jack replacement.
His gun looks like a combination of the squareness gun and, if any of you watched Class, the Miss Quill's gun.
Oh,
Looks like
yeah.
a bit of a combination of that. He looks cool. He appears to be in the same crystal castle thing that we see in the trailer with the big hexagon pillars. His costume looks very from Gallifrey. I tell you what as well, the patch on his jacket looks like the classic Gallifrey writing.
The very last letter at the bottom, I see like a little Among Us character.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I don't really know much about this character, at least. He looks cool.
Yeah, good outfit. That's all I can say about him, really.
There's really nothing else shown, right?
I think he's a Time Lord. I tell you what, there is in an interview, Jacob Anderson said that, and they both laughed when he said this. He said he will always have Jodie and Mandip in his heart, and then he stopped and went, his hearts, and Jodie and Mandip looked at each other and laughed, and he spoke about being on the TARDIS and him having his own spaceship. So I think he's probably a Time Lord or a timeless child.
Yeah, I think something like that is a possibility.
Or another Doctor.
Do we want to go through that gimmick again, though?
No, because I tell you what, if we don't get anything mentioning Ruth this series, I'll be really annoyed.
Yeah, I'd be annoyed by that, because she's the best thing from season 12.
I really enjoyed the Ruth Doctor. I know Big Finish is just chomping at the bit to get her. You just know it.
Yeah. The minute this era ends, Big Finish will be like,
Allow us to introduce ourselves.
300 Joe Martin box sets.
I'm not a massive Big Finish fan. I love the War Master stuff, but if they do Ruth Doctor era stuff, I will be listening to that.
Also, Big Finish, if you're listening to this, get Peter Capaldi in.
Next up, we have a returning character from the 10th Doctor era, an Ood.
Proof that Chibnall is an RTD simp.
Well, I like the Ood. I think everyone likes the Ood.
No, I love the Ood. But this Ood, I don't know.
It's baby Ood.
Yeah, this Ood looks like trash in my opinion. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you don't have Millennium effects on your team anymore.
Yep.
This looks awful.
Yeah, it just looks cheap, doesn't it? It doesn't really... Unlike the previous prosthetics where it looked like their actual organic flesh, it feels like it's made out of rubber, basically, and the eyes are just the worst part, because like this deep brown they've gone for, when all the previous dudes we've seen, they're sort of like a reddish, very light reddish brown sort of color.
And they've gone for pure white and black.
Yeah, and it then makes them look really baby-faced.
It looks ridiculous. Like, I've looked at this whole mask, and I've come to the conclusion that I think this whole entire thing was resculpted and redone. It's much wider. It's not as tall as the original prop. The ears, protrude out.
Yeah, it has to be completely redone because Millennium Effects are not doing it, and I'm sure they probably took everything with them.
And then the tentacles look ridiculous. They're thick, like they're udon noodles. It's like none of it just matches or correlates well. It's like they took all the proportions of a nude and just put it out of whack. And then they give it the wrong eyes, wrong skin color tones, and everything. It looks atrocious in my mind. It does not look good.
I think it looks like a Big Chief Studios Ood toy.
Yeah, with movable eyes.
Yeah, that'll be double the price now. But
with swappable eyes, they'll do all the different colors.
Oh, no!
They're like exclusive nephew eyes that are green if you pay an extra £100.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then pay another £50 more if you want Ood Sigma in his black garb.
No, that's super cheap wage. You've got to pay another $200 for that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because Ood Sigma is the Sigma Ood. Sigma male.
They'll limit him to 50 units as well.
So what are we calling this Ood? Ood Beta.
Sounds about right.
And then up next, we have another returning 10th Doctor era monster,
RTD simp.
A weeping angel that looks very different but the same at the same time. It's a weird. I don't know what
It
they've
looks
done.
like foam.
Yeah, it looks awful. It's like just a cheap knockoff one. It doesn't look right at all. Like again, it's like how the Ood doesn't look like it's actual organic flesh anymore. It's like how these weeping angels don't look like they're stone. They just look like they're made of rubber and, foam and various bits and pieces, and yeah, they just don't look the same, and it just feels really wrong, to be honest. And this is just what happens when you don't have Millennium Effects anymore. They were so good that you can really see the fact they've lost them across the entire board here on terms of prosthetics and everything. Yeah, it's a major loss because everything now just does not look as good. It looks cheap and nasty, you know?
I think the problem is who is doing the new makeup. I don't even know their name, but
I can't remember at this moment.
whoever's doing the new stuff is good at making new creatures because these Ravagers look great, but they're not great at recreating the older designs.
Yeah.
And that's a fair statement, because they don't know the original process that Millennium Effects did it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But at the same point, you can't help but scratch your head and wonder, like, why on earth did the BBC not try harder to get Millennium Effects back? Because they were the top dogs.
I think
in
the BBC knew
entire
they were in the
industry.
wrong for what they did, and they were too proud to say, "Yeah, we were wrong. Please come back."
Probably.
Yeah.
And then the only other bit that we've got to talk about is the rumor of the 13th Doctor's TARDIS being sick, and that's what the crystals are about. Because I've attached a new image. If you look at the crystal pillars, there's like these weird hexagons wired into them now, and it looks like there's either their screens or like bruising on the crystal pillars that it's scanning. But I think they may be screens. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what I mean. Yeah, it's odd. I don't necessarily know because I almost feel like the whole TARDIS being sick plot line was just dropped, and I feel like either they're going to pick it back up this series or it is just going to be permanently dropped, and that's something else. Just have to wait and see on that, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But then also the other. Oh yeah, what I was going to say is, it's strange that all of the big bad guys, have returned this series, other than the Daleks. So I'm wondering if the Daleks are going to be like the big finale thing. Like the Doctor stopped all of these other monsters coming back to get whatever the flux is, or interfere with the flux, and then the Daleks will show up and be like, guess what? We're here.
Or maybe the Daleks are in one of the specials, so they've not really promoted them.
Sorry, I think this series will end with the Doctor being like, "Oh, we did it. We saved everyone. We've stopped it." And then the Daleks are like, "Nope, wrong," and they show up as like the cliffhanger for the specials.
I mean, we all know Chibnall likes to have some surprises in there and doesn't show us everything.
Does that cover everyone's thoughts? Did you guys want to add anything else?
What about Dan the Man?
I hope we see him plaster some cracks this series.
Let's hope the BBC provides subtitles because we cannot understand him.
Oh,
Especially in that one
man.
line he says in the trailer.
Yous two are insane. You can obviously hear what he's saying. It's like, you guys are crazy.
I heard it the first time I watched it, and then Alex and James were going back and forth. We're like, what on earth is he saying? Did he say, oh, maybe we should have broken that chair a little more lightly? And ever since they said that, it's ruined me. That's all I hear. All I hear is chair and not to ya.
Yous are insane people, okay? That's like me saying I can't understand what Wade's saying.
No. Alex, you're from that area, right?
Well, I'm close enough to Liverpool to understand what a Liverpool accent is like and to understand Liverpool accents. And I've got to say, John Bishop does not sound like the average Liverpudlian does. I swear his accent is so overdone and caricatured that it almost sounds fake. It's like no one from Liverpool actually talks like that. It's ridiculous. John Bishop is a whole different breed, and he does not speak how anyone speaks, to be honest.
He speaks Bishop.
Yeah, it's his own new accent.
Liver Bishopian.
I'm pretty sure Liverpudlian is the name of that Wookiee character.
Oh, I have an easier time understanding Chewbacca than Dan the Blaster Man.
Okay.
I'm going to need some subtitles more than anything in my life. And even then, I have a feeling that the people that make the subtitles, they're going to have a hard time figuring out what on earth he's saying. They're like, hey, Chibnall, can you give us the transcripts? We have no idea what Dan the Plaster Man is even saying.
I tell you what's going to be fun is watching the auto-generated captions.
Oh,
Try
yeah.
and deal with it.
Yeah. Just like YouTube. YouTube gave each of us, like, depending on where you got the trailer from, it gave you different answers every single time.
It's fun.
It was hilarious. It's like, let's play a game of what Dan will say this time. Now, overall, what's your guys' thoughts for when this comes out next week? Are you looking forward to it? Are you nervous? Or you feel like, nah, here we go again. We've been through this with season 12 and 11.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'd say who gives a flux?
That's about the stage I'm at. But I'll tell you this, though. After this trailer, I was a little more excited for it. This whole time, I'm like, nah, I don't really care. I'm not going to watch it. After this, I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll watch it just to see what happens.
Yeah, I was at the point where I wasn't going to watch it before, but now with the trailer and stuff, I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. I'll give it a go.
Oh, no. You don't get to watch it. You said you will not be watching it no matter what. You do not get. You have lost Doctor Who privileges. You're a fake fan.
I'd be a fake fan if I'm going to watch it.
Well, but yeah, I'm excited. That's all I'll say. I'm excited for it.
Now, overall, where do you think this is going to rank? You think this will be better than season 12, or do you think it'll be worse? I'm of the opinion, just because of what we've seen from the trailer and everything, this is the first legitimately good trailer in all of the years with Chibnall's era. I think this is going to be maybe better than season 12 and significantly better than season 11, but I don't think it's going to surpass my love of Matt Smith's seasons or Tennant's or even Capaldi's for that matter. It's not going to beat any of those. I already know that. Even season 2 at its worst, I can still rewatch and have appreciation for more than season 11.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think this series is going to surpass anything that is before the Whittaker era. But I do hope this will be better than series 11 and 12. I think it'll definitely be better than 11 because at least like series 11 was just awful, really.
Really? I actually enjoyed Series 11 more than Series 12.
And I must disagree with that. Just because season 11 I thought was boring.
No, yeah, but I liked how just simple and fresh it was. It wasn't trying to be, lore heavy and, oh, here's all these monsters.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't like season 12 for its lore or the timeless children. I like other stuff in it, but certainly not the timeless children. That is not the reason why I like it.
Yeah, like my stance really with series 11 is I appreciate his creative vision of trying to be something fresh, but it just didn't work because the aliens were not there. It was boring. It wasn't interesting enough. There wasn't anything really going on there. And then series 12, at least it had some fun aliens in it, and it actually, even if unfortunately the finale had the most stupid canon retcon ever, at least everything leading up to that was at least a bit more engaging and interesting.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see if season 13 or Doctor Who Flux delivers or not. Well, that will conclude this episode for talking about Doctor Who Flux. I'd say overall, we're looking forward to it. There's some pros, there's some cons, but overall, I think what we're most excited about is the things to come after that. We got the Centennial specials coming up for 2022, right? That's when they said they'll release those.
Yes, I think 3 episodes over the course of the year.
So that will be pretty interesting. That'll be kind of like 2009 all over again in that sense. But after that, we got Russell T Davies coming back. The man, the myth, the legend. That's what I'm really excited for.
That's when the real stuff begins. Proper Doctor Who comes back, and we're all
Yep.
saved.
Oh, you are so dramatic, honestly. Doctor Who's saved. Doctor Who's not dying.
It's been dead on arrival for the past 3 years.
Okay, haters. Okay.
Well, I'd like to thank my co-hosts Jack and Alex for joining me in on this discussion. And last but not least, I'd like to thank you, the audience members, for listening into our podcast. If you enjoyed it, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and everyone. We've got some more episodes coming up soon, so stay tuned for those. I'm your host, Wade, and this is the Parliament of the Daleks.
Do 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 do.
Maybe we should have broke that chair a little lightly.
Not bad.
Eldrad is bae.
Yeah, well,
When it comes to rock characters.
what? Not you sure it wasn't? You don't like Dwayne?
No, I love Dwayne. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,